From a very young age, Sophia carried within her a burning dream to become a doctor who saves lives. But it wasn't just any ordinary dream. It was a flame ignited by the anxious and painful days when her little brother was seriously ill. Those memories etched deep in her heart fueled a fierce determination. She would dedicate her life to healing, to helping those in pain. Born and raised in a suburb of Brazil, in a middle-class but modest family, Sophia didn't have the luxury of studying at international schools or fancy language centers. The public school she attended barely devoted any time to teaching English, a language that was, in fact, the golden key to unlocking her dreams. Every page of her English textbook, every strange word felt like a huge wall standing between Sophia and the future she longed for. There was one day Sophia would never forget, the first time she stood before the class, trying to read a simple English sentence from the textbook, but all that came out was stammering and confusion. The snickers and mocking glances from her classmates were like sharp knives piercing her heart. That feeling wasn't just embarrassment, but utter despair, making the little girl wonder, can I really overcome this? Or is this dream just an illusion? But that suffocating, difficult moment became the turning point of Sophia's life. Instead of letting fear and shame crush her, she chose to turn them into a source of strength. She began persevering step by step, learning every word, every sentence, exploring on her own, and never giving up. The dream of becoming a doctor was no longer distant. It became the guiding light for every relentless effort of this brave young girl. Sophia's story is not just about overcoming language difficulties. It is a testament to the extraordinary power of will and perseverance. And soon, you will see how that journey opened a new chapter full of challenges, but also overflowing with opportunities from which each of us can learn, inspired by a girl with a courageous heart. When big dreams begin to sprout, tough decisions inevitably come knocking at the door of life. One peaceful evening changed everything for Sophia. She and her father had a heartfelt conversation that marked a turning point in her journey. The simple, quiet man, full of warmth, looked into his daughter's eyes and said with a serious, determined voice, "You must master English. It's the key that will open the wide doors to your future, where you can reach every dream." Those words echoed in Sophia's mind, not just as encouragement, but as a powerful call of destiny. To get where she wanted, Sophia knew she had to step out of her comfort zone and overcome every barrier. After a family discussion, the unavoidable decision was made. Sophia would leave Brazil, the country she loved, to go to a new land, Canada. Canada, a vast country with diverse cultures and a highly regarded education system, where English is spoken everywhere. This wasn't just a strategic choice. It was an opportunity for Sophia to live and learn in a modern, open, and humane environment. Everything seemed to promise a bright future. But behind that door lay challenges she could not yet imagine. Her family, though not wealthy, poured all their efforts and finances into supporting her. Years of carefully saved money, simpler meals to save every penny, all were placed on her shoulders as a reminder of responsibility and faith. Sophia understood clearly this journey wasn't hers alone, but the hope of her entire family. The day she landed in Canada, Sophia was overwhelmed by the sharp cold of winter, a cold that not only numbed the skin but tested her spirit. Every breath in the icy air awakened her from sweet dreams to face harsh reality. Familiar foods disappeared, replaced by strange flavors, making her feel lost and uneasy. the English language, which she had only known from books, now felt like a rushing wild wave relentlessly crashing against the shores of her memory. Fast speech and unfamiliar pronunciation made Sophia often whisper to herself, "I must try harder, or I will be left behind." Far from home, the young girl faced deep loneliness. No more laughter from friends, no warm embrace from family. Every night, when the light in her small rented room went out, feelings of emptiness and confusion flooded in, making Sophia shed tears more than once. Yet, in those moments, she found a magical strength deep within her soul, a strength that helped her stand up and keep fighting the endless challenges. Sophia knew the road ahead was long and far from easy, but she was ready, with a steely will and fierce belief in her dreams, to turn those hardships into stepping stones, to rise stronger than ever before. And her story, the journey from a humble Brazilian girl to a determined young woman in a foreign land, was only just beginning. On her very first day stepping into the English class, Sophia felt as if she had entered a completely different world. Every sound, every word, every glance overwhelmed her. English was not just a new language. It felt like a giant wall standing between her and the world around her. When the teacher called her name and asked her to answer, her heart raced wildly, her legs trembled, and her voice was so soft it was almost inaudible. She was scared of making mistakes, scared of being laughed at, scared she couldn't keep up with her classmates. And just as she feared, soft laughter echoed from the other students, their eyes filled with surprise and mockery, making Sophia feel isolated and tiny, like an outsider in her own classroom. In those moments, she faced despair, a feeling anyone who's ever struggled can never forget. She wondered, do I have what it takes? Should I give up on my dream? But then she remembered why she came here, her burning dream of becoming a doctor, to heal those she loved and bring hope to others. Thinking of her little brother, fighting illness day by day, her heart filled with a fierce determination, she would never let this hardship defeat her. Alongside the challenges in learning, Sophia began to discover the new and fascinating culture of Canada. Here, no one was forced to wear uniforms. Everyone freely expressed their personality through their clothes, making the classroom atmosphere colorful and relaxed. She noticed people respected personal space, something that initially felt distant, but gradually became a sign of politeness and respect. Sophia was also surprised by Canadians' habit of saying sorry. They always gently used apologies to smooth over even the smallest conflicts. And the portions in restaurants, so large that many times she had to ask friends to help finish, a mixture of amusement and bewilderment. Yet, the greatest challenge was mastering the English language itself. Every essay and paragraph was corrected over and over, with grammar and vocabulary errors making Sophia feel like she was being pulled backward. Every time she picked up a pen to write, she wrestled with doubt and questioned, why am I so bad at this? Especially when it came to speaking. Even though she knew the answers and had rehearsed every sentence in her mind, standing in front of the class, her tongue froze and no words would come out. That feeling wasn't just disappointment. It was a lingering fear. Fear she would never fit in, never catch up. In the quiet nights, when her small room was lit only by a dim desk lamp, Sophia would sit and cry alone. The tears weren't just from loneliness, but from pressure, from homesickness, from a sense of failure. Yet deep inside, she refused to give up. Sophia knew well that if she quit, her dreams would vanish, and all the years of effort would be for nothing. She remembered her father's words, her family's hopeful eyes, the long road she had chosen. And then, in those vulnerable moments, Sophia found an invisible strength, the strength of willpower, persistence, and an unwavering belief in her future. She began setting small daily goals, learning new words, practicing speaking to herself in the mirror, reading books, and watching movies in English. Each small step, though slow, was a powerful move forward on her journey to conquer a new language. Sophia understood that success does not come overnight, but requires endurance and courage to overcome challenges. It was during these tough days that Sophia learned the most valuable lesson: nothing is more precious than perseverance, and the only limits are the ones we set ourselves. She realized every fall was a chance to grow, every challenge an opportunity to prove herself. Above all, she believed her dream of becoming a doctor was no longer just a distant hope. It was becoming clearer every day, waiting with open arms to welcome her. English learning strategies and speaking practice. After the challenging early days, filled with uncertainty and hesitation, Sophia began to discover effective English learning methods that helped her gradually overcome fear and build confidence in communication. One small but surprisingly useful trick she applied was wearing headphones and pretending to make phone calls. Whenever she had free time, Sophia would imagine she was talking to friends or family on the phone, speaking aloud by herself, describing everything around her as a way to practice spontaneous speaking and fluency. The headphones became her indispensable companion, making her feel comfortable and free from worry about judgment or ridicule. But that wasn't all. Sophia also established a strict rule for herself. Every day she had to learn at least 3 new words, and more importantly, use those words in sentences or writing exercises daily. This approach ensured that vocabulary didn't just stay stored passively in her mind, but was actively used, helping her remember and apply words more effectively. Another breakthrough came when Sophia decided to stop watching movies with subtitles. Instead, she focused on listening carefully, training her ears to get used to the natural speed and real intonation of native speakers. At first, many scenes felt like listening to a foreign language, but gradually, with perseverance, she noticed her listening skills improving significantly. Alongside book learning, Sophia never forgot to practice real-life communication. One day, she stepped into a coffee shop and confidently ordered a cup of coffee in English. The mix of nervousness and pride surged within her as the barista smiled and responded fluently to her request. That moment was when she realized she was making progress, slowly breaking down the barriers in communication. Through all these experiences, Sophia learned the most valuable lesson. Perfection in English isn't what matters most. Confidence and the courage to speak and try are what count. Taking even the smallest first step is already a giant leap on the path to mastering a new language. Hard life and unstoppable effort. Life in Canada was far from easy for Sophia. The cost of living constantly weighed heavily on her. Rent for a tiny room in a cheap neighborhood, food expenses, bus fares, tuition fees each semester, and phone bills to keep in touch with family back home. Every penny was carefully measured and spent with caution. There was no room for wasteful spending, not even a little. To support herself and continue studying, Sophia took a part-time job at a cafe near her school. Her schedule became busier than ever. Mornings at class, afternoons working, evenings studying, and falling asleep utterly exhausted. There were days when fatigue seemed unbearable. moments when she felt she couldn't go on, but deep inside, she never once thought of giving up. It was her dreams and perseverance that fueled her strength to keep moving forward. Loneliness and homesickness were her quiet but persistent foes. Sophia constantly longed for her parents, the warm family meals, the comforting embraces, and the familiar atmosphere of her homeland, Brazil. At times, she felt very weak and even considered putting her dreams on hold to return home. But every time she reflected on her efforts, she reminded herself to be stronger, more resilient. One day, with only $5 left in her wallet, Sophia stood at a crossroads in life, to quit or to keep going. Anxiety overwhelmed her, yet she suddenly realized that the toughest moments are when we discover our strongest will. She decided not to retreat, refusing to let that small amount of money defeat her. Instead, she used it as a spark, lighting up her faith and motivation to move forward, no matter how long and challenging the road ahead. Sophia's journey is a testament to the power of persistence and determination. When we face relentless challenges, success is never far behind. The breakthrough: thinking in English and speaking with confidence. A major turning point in Sophia's English learning journey was when she decided to stop translating everything in her head. It might seem like a small step, but in reality, it became the foundation for much faster and more natural language reflexes. Instead of constantly translating back and forth mentally, Sophia began training herself to think directly in English, just like a native speaker. At first, this was confusing and challenging, but with perseverance, she gradually felt herself living in the new language. One unforgettable moment was when Sophia went shopping at a nearby convenience store. When the clerk asked her a simple question in English, she responded naturally without pausing to translate in her mother tongue. Her answer came swiftly and confidently. She suddenly realized she was thinking in English, no longer translating word by word. This was a huge step forward in her language use. And it was when Sophia felt all her hard work was finally starting to pay off. Sophia wants to share some truly valuable advice for anyone on the path to learning English. Speak English every day, even if it's just talking to yourself in the mirror or describing everything around you. Repetition builds natural reflexes. Stop translating from English to your native language. Try to make English your second language inside your mind. Be brave to interact with native speakers, even if you feel scared or shy at first. Real-life practice is the fastest way to improve. Surround yourself with English. Listen to music, watch movies, read books, join English-speaking communities. Create a lively learning environment that helps you naturally get used to the language. Don't fear making mistakes. Mistakes are an essential part of learning and self-improvement. Every mistake is a precious lesson. Be persistent. Never give up. Every day of effort brings you one step closer to success. Sophia believes that as long as you hold firm to your determination and apply the right strategies, anyone can turn English into a powerful companion in life and career. Facing the fear of communication and the first real conversation. Communicating with native speakers used to be Sophia's biggest fear. Their English was spoken so fast, like a rushing stream she couldn't catch. The slang, the different accents, and fleeting facial expressions left her feeling lost and overwhelmed. Every time she thought about standing face to face with a native speaker, her heart raced with anxiety and fear. She was afraid they would judge her as incompetent, making mistakes, or even not understanding what she said. It was a lonely feeling, standing in a vast ocean of language with no one understanding her. But Sophia refused to let that fear take over her life. She knew if she kept avoiding it, the fear would become an insurmountable barrier, and her dreams would drift further away. Then one day, filled with determination, she told herself, I must be brave and step out. Sophia chose a familiar coffee shop near her home, a place where many locals enjoyed their coffee and chatted. With a pounding heart, she walked in, looked around, and stopped in front of a Canadian girl sitting alone. For the first time, she took the initiative to start a conversation. Her hands trembled slightly, her voice was hesitant, but inside, a fire of determination burned bright. She began with simple topics: the weather, coffee, daily life, small but challenging subjects for someone new to English. And then something surprising happened. The conversation started slowly but gradually became smoother and more natural. Sophia realized she no longer needed to translate each word in her head. English thoughts came directly, and speaking reflexes happened quickly and naturally, like breathing. That feeling was amazing, as if a big door opened, leading her to a new world, where English was no longer a barrier but a bridge connecting people. She felt reborn, free to fly high and far in the vast sky of language and opportunity. From that moment on, she understood that confidence, it's not about speaking perfectly or without mistakes, but about daring to step out, dare to speak, and dare to accept errors. That is the most important language to conquer English. This turning point completely changed Sophia's life. From a shy, timid girl in English class, she became a confident communicator, unafraid of challenges, and constantly striving to improve every day. Communicating with native speakers was no longer a fear but a joy, a chance to learn and connect. Sophia learned a valuable lesson. In any journey, no success comes from perfection, but from the courage to never give up. Improving English with shadowing and error tracking. On her journey to master English, Sophia discovered an incredibly effective technique: shadowing. It wasn't simply about mechanically repeating words, but immersing herself in every sentence, mimicking the native speaker's tone, rhythm, speed, and emotion. She would sit in front of the screen, eyes intently watching the movement of lips, the rising and falling intonation of the actors, striving to replicate exactly as if she was living inside that story, actually speaking with them. This was more than just pronunciation practice. It was a way to feel the language vividly, like a natural flowing stream. But Sophia didn't stop there. She also dedicated time to meticulously recording every mistake she made during practice. A small notebook was always by her side, where she wrote down every pronunciation, vocabulary, or grammar error she encountered, along with corrections and helpful tips to avoid repeating them. Every time she reviewed those notes, it was like confronting herself, seeing the challenges she had overcome and the valuable lessons she had learned. This practice not only helped her avoid repeating errors, but also fueled a strong motivation to keep improving day by day. Thanks to the perfect combination of shadowing and error tracking, Sophia witnessed a remarkable transformation in her pronunciation and communication skills. Her English sentences no longer felt stiff or forced, but became smooth, natural, and full of life, just like a native speaker talking to you. Confidence grew stronger and stronger, opening up new horizons for communication and personal growth. From this, Sophia realized that learning English was not just about vocabulary or grammar, but a journey of self-discovery, patience, and a deep love for the language. connecting, and social integration to enhance skills. Sophia realized that learning English was not confined to textbooks or lonely hours in front of a computer screen. She understood that the true key to improving her skills lay in connecting with native speakers and immersing herself in her new environment. This was the turning point that made her language journey vibrant and meaningful. Without hesitation or shyness, Sophia actively participated in local events, cultural gatherings, festivals, and small workshops in her community. There, she had the chance to mingle and learn how Canadians naturally converse, listen, and respond. She all downloaded language exchange apps where she could chat with native speakers eager to learn her mother tongue. Through these interactions, she not only practiced English, but also built valuable friendships. Furthermore, in her daily work, Sophia seized every opportunity to communicate with her colleagues, native speakers who were always willing to help and share their experiences. These casual conversations helped her improve her intonation, word usage, and develop a natural feel for the language, capturing the essence of how natives express themselves. Day by day, Sophia found herself integrating more and more, no longer feeling lost or isolated. English became more than just a subject to study. It was the bridge leading her to a new world, a world of confidence, connection, and opportunity. And she realized that only by truly stepping outside and opening up to others could her English skills be polished to perfection. The long journey and the ultimate achievement. Sophia's journey to master English and fulfill her dream of becoming a doctor is a story filled with hardship, challenges, but also overflowing with faith and hope. The first days she set foot in Canada were not just a language barrier, but a battle with herself. Loneliness, exhaustion, financial and emotional pressures. Each day was a relentless series of tests, balancing English studies, exhausting shifts at a coffee shop, and an ever-growing homesickness. What makes Sophia's story truly remarkable is her unwavering determination and relentless spirit. When everything seemed to fall apart, when her bank account had only a few dollars left, when she stood at the edge of despair, Sophia found an inner strength to move forward. She didn't just survive, she was determined to break through, transforming obstacles into fuel for self-improvement. The crucial ESL exam, the gateway to medical school, was the biggest challenge Sophia ever faced. She devoted countless hours of intense study and practice to prepare. Anxiety and pressure mounted, but she refused to be defeated. When the results exceeded her expectations, it was not merely a certificate, but proof of her persistence and endless grit. Today, as a successful doctor, Sophia looks back at her journey with profound pride. From a shy, nervous girl struggling with English to a confident, fluent woman ready to face any challenge in a new environment, she has written an inspiring story not only for herself, but for everyone with a dream. Sophia's message is a guiding light for anyone facing hardship. Never give up on your dreams. The road may be long and full of obstacles, but as long as you hold on to your faith and keep striving, success will come to you. If I can do it, so can you. Sophia's story is not just about learning English or becoming a doctor. It is a living testament to the power of will and perseverance, showing that every challenge can be a stepping stone to success if we know how to overcome it. Thank you for joining me on Sophia's incredible journey. If this story inspired you, please hit the like button and share it to spread the positive energy to more people. And if you want to keep receiving motivating stories like this, Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video from this channel. Together, we will conquer our biggest dreams.